Hello and welcome to Time About the Movies Flashback, and today we're flashing back to... Thought I had the wrong date. No, June 3rd, 1987. The start of June, pretty much. I do have the wrong date. June 5th, 1987. I'm reading off of Wikipedia on the first movie we have here, and it's like, the premiere of this movie was June 2nd. The date of this movie is June 3rd, even though that's a Wednesday in 1987. But no, on Box Office Mojo, it's June 5th, 1987. Bottom line, we're looking at 5 movies today, not 6, because I couldn't find anything for Shady, which I guess was a 1985 British movie. I never saw it, so we don't really need to worry about that one there. But we have 5 films to look at, so we got a lot to get to. So let's just go ahead and get right to the biggest new release of the weekend, which was, of course, Kevin Costner, Sean Connery, starring in and Robert De Niro and Brian De Palma's The Untouchables.
Paramount Pictures announces an extraordinary entertainment experience, The Untouchables. Kevin Costner is Elliot Ness. Robert De Niro is Al Capone. Sean Connery is Jimmy Malone. A story of good and evil, honor and betrayal, corruption and courage. The Untouchables.
Now playing at the Century Cinedome and Sacramento Drive-Ins. Check newspaper for showtimes.
This is, of course, the adaptation of the classic television series, which starred Robert Stack, and this one's set in 1930 in Chicago, just like the TV series, and follows Elliot Ness, played by Costner, as he forms the Untouchables, to bring down Al Capone, played by Robert De Niro, to justice during Prohibition. And you also have a cast that includes Charles Martin Smith, Andy Garcia in one of his early film roles, a script written by David Mamet, everything coming together for a really great movie. And lo and behold, we have a really great movie here. This is not only one of the best TV adaptations ever, but one of the best crime movies ever made. I mean, this is such a fantastic film. Sean Connery is great in the film. You can see why he won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor here. And, he's good. And there's a lot of good talent all across the board here. Costner, Garcia, Connery. Moments in this movie that are still memorable to this very day. The scene in the subway terminal is still one of the great movie scenes. So good that Naked Gun 33 and the Third parodied that. Although technically that was intended for a parody well into the first Naked Gun movie. But they had to keep pushing it back from the first one to the second one and then eventually the third one. But other than that, though, this is just such a great film that has been talked about so much time and time again. And, it's Brian De Palma. Brian De Palma was at the peak of his hype at this time period. I mean, Scarface, Dressed to Kill, Body Double, these great movies, these great pulp films that are kind of the equivalent to him, like Alfred Hitchcock made back in the day. I mean, you can definitely have a lot of parallels to Hitchcock and De Palma of what they were doing back then, and this is definitely one of his great movies in general. And you can never go wrong with a script by David Mamet. I mean, David Mamet's one of those great writers that very rarely misses the mark, and this is definitely one where he does not miss the mark at all. Just not much more to say, man. The Untouchables is a great movie. I can't recommend this one enough. The great music by Ennio Morricone. Can't go wrong with that either. Why haven't you watched already if you haven't? The Untouchables, classic movie. So let's go ahead and move on to the next movie here. Not quite as memorable as The Untouchables, but still pretty good. Harry and the Hendersons.
I want to report something in my house. A big something.
The Hendersons have an unusual house guest.
It just ate our goldfish.
And where is it now, Mr. Henderson?
It's in the bathroom.
He wasn't invited, but he's not an intruder.
Just give me 1 week.
George, we don't have enough house for 2 days. He doesn't fit here.
See, there was this giant...
Is there a beanstalk involved in this, Mr. Henderson? He's not really a friend, but he's becoming part of the family.
Boys, this guy's strong.
What is that smell? Once Irene sees it, the whole world's gonna know.
I mean, it's about as simple as a concept as you can get here. You have a family led by John Lithgow and Melinda Dillon, who have an encounter with the cryptozoological creature Bigfoot, who they name Harry. You also see Lainie Kazan and Don Amici in here. Don Amici's just coming off of his Oscar win for Cocoon. And once again, leave it to Steven Spielberg to attach his name to such a bizarre concept of a film and somehow make it work as well as it does. They take a concept such as having Bigfoot being part of this family and they make a funny, lighthearted comedy about it, and it really does work overall. Everybody in here plays their parts very well. You have a lot of good people in here. Harry is just a charming, fun character overall. It's another film that shows why Rick Baker was one of the best makeup men of his time period. I mean, his work on here is really well done, and he won another Academy Award for this. I mean, it's just something that he knows so well. So it even baffles me even more why most werewolf movies don't use the same thing. This guy, because he's been known to do this great makeup work for so many years, and yet now we don't want to use practical effects. We want to go for terrible CG because it works so well for an American Werewolf in Paris, Curse, the recent Wolfman movie. But yeah, the story itself very much is basically another E.T. It's a family that finds this mysterious creature and have to protect it from the big bad guys of the film. It's not an inventive movie on the aspect, but it's very harmless, and it's better than a lot of the E.T. knockoffs. I mean, would you rather watch this or would you rather watch Mac and Me? I can just answer that for you right now. You'd rather want to watch Harry and the Hendersons because, yeah, it's good, harmless fun. The characters are great. Harry's a likable lug. It's generic but harmless in the story department, but there's a lot of good, decent, funny moments in here. Cute little family film. Take it for what it is and enjoy it for what it is. So with that said, on to the next movie, and that is Captive Hearts.
And in the tradition of Splendor in the Grass, the story of two young people who struggle for the right to love. Captive Hearts, written by Bill Phillips and Warren Scarron, produced by Tova Leiter.
I assume this is the exact movie that they're talking about here, because that was from a 1985 Paramount reel of movies that they had in the works, and I guess this was one of the movies that they had, and then it got shipped over to MGM. I'm assuming that's what this is, because if that's the case, then this poster I'm looking at here definitely does not seem like the same movie. It's something on the levels of Splendor in the Grass, but this is Captive Hearts, also known as Fate of a Hunter, and it stars Pat Morita, who also co-wrote the script for this. And it's a story where it takes place in December of 1944 as their bomber is shot down during a mission over Japan. Sergeant McManus and Robert, a young lieutenant played by Chris Makepeace, have no other choice but to make a parachute jump. They are captured by local villagers and saved from execution by Fukushima, the village elder. McManus never accepts his lot, unlike Robert, who soon takes an interest in Japanese customs and rights. More, he falls in love with pretty Miyoku, Fukushima's widowed daughter-in-law. So I've never seen this movie before. I can't really say if it's any good or not, but I mean, it doesn't look terrible overall. It just looks kind of like a generic movie in general, but I'm kind of curious about this because the fact that it's Pat Morita writing the script for this, along with starring in it too. I mean, he's got to be good in it overall, but yeah, other than that though, I really do not know too much about this one, so I don't even know if this is the same one from that Paramount reel, per se, because that reel definitely does not seem like the same thing as the stuff I'm seeing for this movie, but I'm just going along with it, Captive Hearts. But let's get back to a movie I have seen, and more people probably have seen the things that have come after it, but let's talk about Benji the Hunted.
He's been missing far too long. But now, Walt Disney Pictures and Joe Camp are bringing him back for his greatest challenge ever, Benji the Hunted. Lost and alone, he's fighting for survival and for the lives of 4 cougar cubs. It's a story of courage and heroism, of heart-pounding suspense, and heartwarming tenderness. This summer, you're invited to share the joy, the triumph, and the pure fun as the internationally famous canine superstar returns to action. If you've never experienced his incredible magic, there's no better time than now, because Benji's back. In Walt Disney Pictures' all-new adventure epic, Benji the Hunted.
Okay, first things first, that trailer does not show you the infamous scene that everyone wants to see. So here's that scene.
Of heart-pounding suspense.
And here's me adding pointless screams to it because why not?
Of heart-pounding suspense.
This is Sparta! Oh, my chest.
I mean, seriously, you can just add as many screams on there as you want to, and it'll still be really hilarious. But just that dummy, that clear dummy of that wolf falling off the cliff, and just the way that it's just falling the way it is, just like it's absolutely hilarious. And that scream in the movie literally sounds like something you would hear in a Looney Tunes cartoon. I mean, it does not sound real at all, but Benji the Hunted. This is a story where Benji is trying to survive in the wilderness and looks after these 4 orphan cougar cubs after their mother is shot and killed by a hunter. And those cubs look absolutely adorable, man. I mean, I didn't notice it until I saw that trailer again. But yeah, those cubs look absolutely cute and all that. But that's probably the best way to describe the movie. It's a cute, fun movie. It's a film that clearly is not made for it's not made for everybody. It's made for little kids. It's a good, fun adventure film for kids. And of the Benji movies, it's probably the one that I think is more memorable than to any other one except for the original Benji. But then again, the last one I think Benji was in was Oh Heavenly Dog, the one where Jane Seymour basically tries to seduce Chevy Chase as Benji. Like what the hell kind of drugs were they thinking when they made that movie? But yeah, as it is, it's a perfectly serviceable movie. It's a fine film for kids. And clearly there's no adult out there that's clearly going to be so against this movie in general. And I think you know exactly which clip I'm going to show next.
I don't know, Gene. Your review is the typical sort of blasé, sophisticated, cynical review I would expect from an adult. This movie is not for adults. This movie is for children. I can remember what it was like to be 6 years old, 8 years old, to see a movie that's 90 minutes long, only has about 100 words of dialogue. It's about a dog in the wilderness, beautiful photography, those cute little cougar cubs, which you mentioned, the magnificence of the other animals, the adventures, the little kittens crossing the stream, the very shot you pointed out. This movie is a movie that kids would really enjoy.
You know what they should do? Roger, my rebuttal of this film is, you're wrapping yourself in the flag of children, and I'm saying go see the Black Stallion instead. There's a film with little dialogue. So much better.
I'm not wrapping myself in the flag of children. You're wrapping yourself in the flag of the sophisticated film.
No, boredom. No, boredom. Boredom with Benji running.
Boredom with Benji running. I don't know about you, but yeah, that would probably make a much more interesting movie than most of the other Benji movies. But to be fair, in the context of that particular episode, keep in mind, that was also the episode where they reviewed Full Metal Jacket, and Roger Ebert didn't like Full Metal Jacket, but he gave thumbs up to this. And Gene was basically making the argument that how could you like Benji the Hunted more than Full Metal Jacket, which, in that case, he's definitely right, because how do you not like Full Metal Jacket? I mean, Full Metal Jacket's one of Stanley Kubrick's greatest movies ever made, but it's worth watching that episode alone. I mean, that's review is more memorable for most people than the actual movie itself. The movie itself is not a bad movie. It's a film that is clearly made for kids. Kids can go into it and have a good time with it. The parents will look at it and go like, this is harmless stuff. And I mean, it's a fun adventure movie, and it is fun for those silly, ridiculous moments like the wolf falling off the cliff like that. I mean, yeah. It's a movie that clearly is not made for everybody. It's made for little kids, and little kids can enjoy a lot out of it. And people like me can enjoy it for some of those ridiculously stupid moments, like that fucking wolf, man. Like that wolf falling off is the most memorable thing about this movie to me, and most people, because yeah, in the trailer it makes it looks all the more hilarious with the way they present it, and even in the movie it still looks bad. I mean, like, I get it. I mean, this is Disney, for God's sake. You can't tell me that they looked at it and said, no, this is absolutely perfect. Let's move on. But no. But anyway, that is Benji the Hunted for you. So let's go ahead and wrap this puppy up here. Let's go ahead and move on to the last movie. No pun intended. Windrider. Let's take a look at that. A film that I have not seen before. It's an Australian romantic comedy where you have Tom Burleson as Stuart P.C. Simpson. maybe PC principles, early days, politically correct. He lives in a magnificent beachfront home and is an enthusiastic windsurfer, indulging his passion for windsurfing daily. His wealthy father, played by Bud Tingwell, may fault PC's inconsistencies in working within the company he owns, but can appreciate his son's remarkable abilities on the waves. With the help of his father's company's engineer, Howard, played by Simon Chilvers, PC develops a high-tech sailboard for the coming World Windsurfing Championship. Meanwhile, Jade is a rock singer who starts a relationship with PC, but as their romance blooms, sports, friends, and the upcoming championship become secondary. And Jade is played by Nicole Kidman. I think this is actually one of her earliest, if not her earliest, film role in general, because I think this, it would make sense. I think this might be her first major film role in a movie, but I mean, it doesn't look like a bad idea overall. I mean, the idea of it seems pretty cool. I mean, wind riding can look pretty cool if you've ever seen footage of it, and it does look pretty cool in the movie. So, I don't know. Maybe it's one I might check out one day. It might be actually kind of fun to see it, but I'm not going to rush out to see it anytime soon. But, hey, you want to see one of Nicole Kidman's early works? Windrider might be the ticket for you. So, with that said, that wraps up another edition of Time About the Movies Flashback. But the next time we meet, we actually have a couple of good movies here. I'm not going to cover in the week of May 29th because there's one movie here, Summer Heat, which I've never seen before. But we're going to go straight to Memorial Day weekend because we've got the biggest movie of the year, Beverly Hills Cop 2. Actually, no, I'm sorry. 3 Men and a Baby was the biggest hit of the 1987, but Beverly Hills Cop 2 was still a massive success. We also have Ernest Goes to Camp, which I think was the first Ernest movie, if I'm not mistaken. And one of my favorite animated movies of all time, The Chipmunk Adventure, a film that was largely passed over by most critics, but the story behind this movie is so fascinating. I'm really excited to delve into this one coming up on the next episode, which might be next week, but considering I'm going to Steel City Con, I might save that for the week after that. Plus, I got an extra week because that next week would have been May 29th, but again, not a big movie coming out that weekend for me to talk about, but so, eventually, within the next 2 weeks, you'll see another episode of this show. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching. And if you like this video and want to see more of them like this, please go ahead and hit that playlist on the next page. Check out the previous episode. Also, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, notification button, and the bell. That's where you get updates on new videos when they come out. And we do post new videos there every day. So, with all that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time. And until then, as always, take care.